again, we arrive at the question of just what is a trance. And again, I would like you to bear with me for a moment as I ask you a simple question. And this question is just a simple yes or no. If your answer is yes, raise your hand. If your answer is no, keep it lower. It couldn't be simpler. Okay? So we're going to do this very simple. So here's the question. Pay attention. At any time in your lifetime, have you ever caught yourself daydreaming? Ooh. Okay. A daydream is a trance. When you are daydreaming, you are in a trance state. A trance state can be imperceptibly light, profoundly deep, or anything else in between. Simply stated, a trance is an altered state of consciousness. It is where your consciousness is focused or shifted away from the present, here and now, or from your base level of waking consciousness. Again, I would like you to bear with me for a moment as I ask you to do another exercise. Just like before, I'm going to ask you to sit up straight in your seat, close your eyes, relax, take a big deep breath, hold it for count of 3. Upon exhaling, let all the tension, thoughts, and feelings flow down through your feet. We'll do this 2 times, but I'm not going to ask you to count to 5, and on 5, you're not going to open your eyes. Do not pop your eyes open. We're going to do something different. So here we go. Sit up straight in your seat. Close your eyes. As before, relax and take a big, deep breath. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhaling your breath. Let all tensions, thoughts, and feelings flow downward through your feet. We'll do this again. Take a big, deep breath. Hold it for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Exhale your breath. Let all the tensions, thoughts, and feelings flow downwards out your feet. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do next is I'm going to ask you to visualize or feel yourself standing on a hillside, overlooking a meadow with a stream running through it. And in this meadow, beside the running stream, is a very large tree. It's important. Observe this meadow view in its entirety without focusing on anything in particular. When you've done that, I now want you to notice that there's a flicker of motion on one of the tree limbs. Being curious, you look more closely and you see that a bird has landed upon one of its limbs. You recognize the bird as being a female robin. And you notice it has a worm in its beak. Since it is springtime, there's a good probability of a nest being nearby. You can't immediately locate the nest, but you listen for the sounds of baby birds. When you hear them, you follow their sounds to the nest, where you see the baby birds with their mouths wide open, hoping for a worm. Now, open your eyes and return to the present here and now. In this exercise, you experience being in a trance state. You entered a trance state once you diverted your attention away from the whole picture of the meadow. The whole picture of the meadow represents, in this case, your base level of waking consciousness. And the moment you shifted your focus upon the robin sitting upon the tree limb, you entered into a trance. In other words, anytime you divert your attention away from your base level of waking consciousness, you are entering a trance state. Oh my goodness. If you think about this, it means that you enter and exit trance states all day long. Yep, this is true. And most of the time, you are totally unaware of doing so. A trance state is perfectly normal. There is nothing abnormal or mysterious about being in a trance. When you watch a movie, TV, experience a play, you are in a trance state. Anytime you are at work concentrating deeply upon your job, you are in a trance state. Even if you are at work and just goofing off daydreaming, you are still in a trance state. All writers, playwrights, actors, composers, musicians, athletes, scientists, students, etc., 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 all go into trance states. Most of the time, we are not aware of going into a trance state or being in a trance state. This is unfortunate because sometimes it works to our detriment. Have you ever been driving a car only to realize that you are 3 exits past your turnoff? Have you ever been off daydreaming while food or something is boiling over on the stove? Have you ever seen those videos of people having accidents while they're looking at or talking on their cell phones while walking? Have you ever run a red light while you've been preoccupied? Most avoidable accidents happen because we are not present in here and now. It is so easy to slip into a trance state without our being aware. But as much as a trance state can be harmful, it can bring the gift of hyperfocus. It can deepen our levels of concentration and observation. It can open the doors to our subconscious, enhance our imagination, and tap into our wealth of creativity. It is our pathway to the realms of the psychic. Trance is a prerequisite, along with meditation, for the engagement of all metaphysical or spiritual work. We cannot enter the higher realms from the material world without the use of trance and meditation. This now brings us to the next big question. Just exactly what is meditation? And what is its true role in relation to trance? Most of the time, we are completely unaware of how we seamlessly enter into and out of a trance state. But what if we wanted to consciously enter into a trance state at will? How do you consciously enter yourself into a trance state at will? There is a tool that can do just that. You can consciously produce a trance state by using the tool called meditation. So what is this cool tool called meditation, and just how does it work in producing a trance state? The answer to these 2 questions is ridiculously simple. The answer is nowhere near mysterious or even close to being complicated. So here it is, the answer. Meditation is singularity of focus. Meditation is singularity of focus. And it is the singularity of focus which brings about the trance state. So, how is this so? Remember when we did the exercise of sitting still with your eyes closed, and when you opened them, it created your base level of waking consciousness. Remember the second exercise, where you were looking at a meadow scene and then shifted your attention to a single bird sitting on a branch within that meadow scene. The minute you zoomed in on that bird, you went into a trance state. Trance is an altered state of consciousness. An altered state of consciousness occurs whenever your conscious focus or attention wanders from your base level of waking consciousness. Now, do not become confused if you hear someone saying that they are entering into a meditative state, because there is no such thing as a meditative state. Meditation is just a tool to help facilitate a trance state and nothing more. Unfortunately, the word meditation is wrongly used interchangeably with what should be called a trance state. When a person says they are practicing meditation, it is more accurate to state that they are engaging in the practice of trance work. The using of different words interchangeably to describe the same thing is all too common in the metaphysical world. Unfortunately, this interchangeability of words adds to another layer of confusion to the understanding of metaphysics. In simple words, a trance is an altered state of consciousness which occurs anytime you shift your mental focus away from your base level of waking consciousness. You consciously employ meditation to shift your consciousness at will. Meditation accomplishes by employing singularity of focus. It is the singularity of focus away from your base level of consciousness that produces the trance state. When you come to the understanding of that, you begin to realize that you start to look, and as you start to grow in the metaphysical world, or even if you've been in there for a while, you begin to realize you can see this basic principle in everything. Okay? You see this in drumming. If you go to a drumming circle, what is it? The drum, the beat, you listen to the beat, it's singularity of focus. The singularity of focus puts you into a trance state. Now, I know some of you are not as old as I am, and you didn't understand and go through the disco time. But kind of let me explain it to you. In disco, there's that terrific beat, you know? And there's the lights going, the rest of it, you just go off. They're all in trance. Okay? Because what happens is the disco beat and the rest of it put you into trance. Now you can go into trance by yourself or you can go into trance by a group. You can do group work, but it's still putting you into trance. Okay? The mechanism, if you do rituals, okay, if you do the tea ceremony, and you're following and your mind is focused just on the movements, totally and completely, it's a meditation, which is what? It's singularity of focus. You're doing singularity of focus on the tea. If you do rituals of manifestation, the ritual does not produce the manifestation. It simply puts you into a trance, so that once you enter the trance state, you can then work on manifestation. There are multiple numbers and ways to meditate. Okay? There's walking meditations, there's moving meditations, there's listening to music, there's singing. You can do all of these things, but they all have one thing in common. The common thing is singularity of focus. And when you practice all these different meditations, it puts you into a trance state. You use meditation to put you into a trance state because there's things that when you go into a trance, one of the things that you do, oftentimes you use it for relaxation. Because when you do singularity of focus, it's like, has anybody done meditation work where they do breath counting? Okay. Breath counting is one of the absolute basic meditations. It's where you simply lay down, you're comfortable, and you count your breaths between 1 and 5. When you hit 5, you go back down. You just observe your breaths, okay? Remarkably hard to do. Simple, but it's hard to do. In that meditation, the primary goal is, one, is to clear your mind. It's the discipline, to teach you discipline. It teaches you how to hold and maintain a trance state. And once you're into a trance state, you'll understand that your thoughts begin to slow down because you move your thoughts. You're exercising. You're quieting the mind. You're quieting the body. And what happens is you go into a deep relaxation. So it's a wonderful tool if you just want to use in that meditative state, in that trance state, to do that. You also use it for discipline. It teaches you how to hold and maintain. There are many different types of meditations. but none of them produce the results. It's the trance state that you're working in. Now, let me be very clear at this particular point. We are talking about your base level of waking consciousness. This is not sleep. Okay? It's not somebody who goes in and becomes conscious in their sleep. That's called lucid consciousness. Okay? In sleep, it's different. You can project your consciousness, you can do all sorts of things in your sleep. We're not talking about sleep. What we're talking about is waking consciousness. And that's where you have the power to work with it. But then again, you can't work in sleep in other areas if you don't do the trance work. It is in trance that you program your subconscious. It is in trance where you create a space to do for spirit communication. So there is a difference. It is a tool. You're going to use it in everything if you decide to move off in. Now, one of the things that I use trance for, we were talking about it can be detrimental going in a trance. I'm an older person. So what happens is you start to lose focus when you're driving. You know, it happens, okay? You take an elder driving class and that's what they teach you. And sometimes what it is, when you're older, your mind goes off and just does lovely things. And you're driving down the freeway at 70 miles an hour. It's not good driving down the freeway 70 miles an hour when you start hitting traffic. So I've trained myself that when that happens, and I start to see the traffic, that I put myself in trance. And what do? I simply say, be here, be here, be here, be here. And that's the trance to put my here, so I'm in the here, now, in the moment, and paying attention, and my mind's not going off someplace else. So it's good working for everything that you want. Once you have control over it, you can use it. It's a tool. So in wrapping up, there is nothing mystifying about trance or meditation once you understand their basics. Understanding their basics is easy. The real challenge comes in mastering the trance state. It is only through the mastery of the trance state that you are then allowed to manifest your boundless creative energies into the material world. Thank you.
Thank you, Denzil. As a kid, I was such a daydreamer, and I think you just gave me permission to say that that's a godly connection instead of wasting all my time. I was such a daydreamer that my mom actually took me to the psychologist to make sure I was like normal. Yeah. Because I would daydream out. So it's kind of cool to know I'm connected, right? Yeah. All right, so it's time. It's that point in our service for our love offering. Could you take out your offering and hold it between your hands? And in your program, it may be off a little bit. We're going to say together our love offering donation. Amen. I know you were here practicing last night. Are we okay to skip some of the recorded music to give you more time? You have the stuff planned, right?
Sure.
So I think we're going to skip some of the recorded music. Let's do our love offering. If you can put your money out and hold it, or if you don't have money, would you please give in thought or energy? So divine love in me blesses this offering and increases my consciousness of peace and prosperity in all of my affairs. Divine love in me blesses this offering and increases my consciousness of peace and prosperity in all of my affairs. The divine love in me blesses this offering and increases my consciousness of peace and prosperity in all of my affairs. If our ushers could come forward, please. And it's going to place a little something. grow and be more than they were before they came in here. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, and Ben is going to play some special music. I know he's got more musical equipment here than normal, so he's got a treat for us.
Yeah, so in case you haven't noticed, I have this thing on top of the piano, which I purchased a couple weeks ago, and I've been trying to get the hang of it. And now it's time to take it up and show it off. But I don't, there's a lot of stuff that you have to have by memory in here. So bear with me. I might discover some things as I'm doing this. I'm going to do another Jesus song, and then we'll do a non-secular one after that. and your health you can't regain. You need someone. And if at times when you're crying with all the strength you had inside, and it seems that you have failed, remember on the cross He nailed all the bitterness and grief to give you peace and sweet relief. He is that someone that you need, so I give you Jesus. He's a place that passes all understanding. I give you Jesus. He's the perfect love that casts out all fear. I give you Jesus. He's the water that you drink and never thirst again. I give you Jesus, my friend. I give you Jesus. Oops. What? Well, I'll just show you all these fun things that you can do with this. Let me take the drums out. Some of the other background stuff. And then you stick with the tenor sax. Stick your organ in there. Look at that.
Thank you, Ben.
I feel like I have much more control when I'm at the piano. I promised you a non-secular song. And something is native in music to Elvis. That was three. What's the difference between secular and non-secular?
Right? Or are you going to do something else for him?
Yeah, Elvis.
Okay. He's got to do a little Elvis for us.
You're not a dream, you're not an angel, you're a woman
take my hand, I'll make a space in this life, let me play, and you stay until it's time for me to go. Yes, we're different worlds apart, we're not the same, oh no, laugh and play at the start of the game. You could have stayed outside my heart, but then you came, and there you'll stay until it's time for you to go. Don't ask why, don't ask how, don't ask forever. Love me, love me, love me now. This love of mine has no beginning, has no end. I was alone, now I'm alone again. Though in my life I may never see you again, yet you'll stay till it's time for me to go. Don't ask why, don't ask how, don't ask however. Love me, you better love me, love me, love me now. This love of mine has no beginning, has no end. I was alone, now I'm alone again. Though in my life I may never see you again, but yet you'll stay until it's time for you to go. Yet you will stay until it's time for you to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. That was awesome. All right, so I want to take a moment just to tell you about some of the things that are going on here at First Spiritualist Church. We are having our Flying High fundraiser, which is right here. It is a fundraiser for the church, so we can get some of the repairs taken care of. You can donate $10, $5, $10, $20, $100 for the Flying High fundraiser. You get to write your name or in memory of someone or a saying on a butterfly, and we'll put it up here. We do also have a money basket down here to tune the piano. As far as events and classes going on, this is the last week of the spiritual healing course, which is Wednesday at 6:30. It's a healing course to teach people how to do the faith healing or spiritual healing that we do before church here every Sunday morning, and pass the course, and we recommended you actually could do healing here on Sunday, and someday be like Reverend Iris. Also, now this is near and dear to my heart. On Monday, we were going to start tomorrow, but so many people told me they're out of town. We're going to start on Monday, I have that date wrong, next Monday, at 6:30 here doing spiritual growth circles. And Reverend Patty back there and Dulce have both been in spiritual growth circles. If you guys have questions ask either one of them on your way out. Raise your hand, you guys, so people can tell you. They're so fun. The circles are, if we were to describe what they are, oh, you've been in circles too. The circles are kind of like a group seance, although in a seance usually one person's talking. Everybody gets to feed in and have this. You get to use your intuition, your connection, your oneness to figure out what message the angels, God, or the spirit kingdoms trying to bring people through. It is a very bonding experience. You will grow and be so much bigger. And then, like if you help somebody's grandpa come through and give them a message, then everybody is all excited and connected. It's really a wonderful experience. So please come and see if you can do that. It's next Monday at 6:30, regardless of what date I wrote down on the thing here. And then we are having our psychic and healing spiritual fair on October 13th from 1 to 4. You can come get a reading, and hopefully we'll have lots of other stuff to do, like gifts from a bookstore and healing, I know goes on. We may be able to get Reverend Rita back here to do iridology, where she reads your eyes to see what medical state you're in or your condition of your health. It's really a lot of fun. And that also is a good fundraiser for the church. What's that? Oh yeah, we might do a raffle. Reverend Ann is creating right here on the spot. So we're at that time in our service for messages from Spirit. If one of our mediums comes up to you and you do not want a message, please, it's okay to say no. But if you do, invite somebody, so your ancestor, your spirit guide, your angels to help us get a message through to you. Pay attention to what you're wearing or your seat, because we might know your name, but when you get up here and you're trying to work through the message that's coming through, it's easy to forget people's names. So the first to work for you is Reverend Iris.
I feel the connection with a guy. Michael, do you know who's Michael? Yes. Okay, I have a connection with him, and also I have a connection with your daughter. I see two different colors. I see the very clear pink. That one can be your daughter. But I see another one is very light, but it's like the same to Archangel Michael. But I asked if that's Archangel Michael, and they said no. It's something about your family, part of your family. I have connection anymore with him, but he comes to helping you. Everything is happening with you is because you're going to raise your vibration and you're going to believe more in you guys. God bless you and thank you for coming. And another one, can I give a message to you? Yeah, thank you. Okay, español. Puedo sentir la energía de un ángel guardián tuyo que te está como